Welcome to this meeting of Oakham Town Council. It's Wednesday, 28th of March, 1800 hours. Agenda item number 1 is apologies. Receive apologies for absence.
Councillor Lucas and Councillor Denny.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to have a nomination to approve absence. All those in favour? Abstaining?
When did we change the fact that we don't approve individually anymore?
Are you voting for or against?
No, we've always voted for them individually so that there's a clear
Well,
record
you
of
need to
people's
vote.
absence.
If we've taken both of them together, are you voting for them or against them? Or are you
Well, I'll
saying
be
you want to?
abstaining.
Are you saying you want to vote for one and not for another?
Yeah, but that's why we've always
Well, I'll
voted.
take the vote again. And the first one was
Councillor Lucas.
Councillor Lucas. So I need a proposal close to vote, David. Second of that, please. And a second. Now, all those in favour? Abstaining? Against. Second one then, Councillor Denny, for the proposal, please. Again, second that was me. All those in favour? Abstaining? Against. Thank you very much. Agenda item 2, declaration of interest. Members are asked to declare if required any disclosable pecuniary interest they may have in respect of items on the agenda.
I've got another interest.
Take that as no. Second part of that then, any other interest they may have in respect to items on the agenda.
Yeah, I'm a representative on the Citizens Advice. However, I do not have any pecuniary interest, and there should be nothing that stops me from contributing or voting.
All right.
I'm representative on CAB.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, what it is on the town council representative on the Citizens Advice. However, because it's not pecuniary interest, I'm declaring it. It should prevent me from talking about it or vote on it.
Agenda item 3. Can we please? Agenda item 3 is publications by the public. Members of the public are invited to address the meeting in the course of procedures. That means that, so if you have anything to say which is on agenda against an agenda item.
Yes, Chair. I'm the Chief Officer for Citizens Advice Rutland, and I just wanted to very briefly say to the Council, to express my apologies to the Council for not putting an application in front of you this year. It is entirely due to me and my newness to the area and the challenges of the year, and my perhaps lack of awareness of the protocols. Martin had certainly mentioned it during the year, but my apologies. It's not about an absence of gratitude for the consideration of the Council to support the funding and the work that Citizens Advice do, which I think, as a relatively new officer, is quite extraordinary across the county, but obviously significant numbers of our clients came from Oakham, so we're about 52% in terms of our latest survey. So your support is extraordinarily valuable to the organisation and to the people of Oakham. My apologies once again.
Thank you very much.
Want me to leave now while you discuss?
No, you can stay if you want to, or leave. You can leave whenever you want to. Stay to the end.
Sorry, beg your pardon. Carry on.
Agenda item 4, this is the co-option. You know that Councillor Lucas unfortunately can't make the interview panel, so we now need to appoint a 4th member of compliance with standing orders, and also this time before we propose, we wish to debate this?
Chair, could the deputy process extend to all representations rather than just specific groups? Because if you remember the last meeting, we discussed the fact that we could have a deputy on the RCC task and finish group. So I didn't know if we could extend that process to cover all groups where we need to send a representative.
That can be done, but it has to be done by resolution. Paper comes from council.
Oh, okay.
At the moment, there is no process in place to automatically do that. If you remember, with the task and finish group, we resolved to have.
Yeah, I didn't know whether we could extend this process today. That's all.
Any other council Brooks? You wish to make a comment?
Yeah, I would like to propose myself.
Oh, we haven't got that far yet. I'm just.
So when you're ready then.
Okay. Nobody else wishes to debate it?
No, I want to propose somebody, but I was told to wait, so
Okay, and I think you were the first person.
thank you
so-
very much, Mr Chairman. I would like to propose Mr Baldock's then.
Second. Do I have a second of the floor? Peter was still serving. Do I have any other nominations? Do you wish to nominate?
Myself.
Anyone to second that? Okay. You can't all second it. Nick second. Nick was the first, Nick seconded it. Okay, so we'll take a vote on that then. So first of all those in favour of Paul? All those in favour of Martin? That means
Well, actually,
Paul-
we're doing the vote wrong.
Thank you, Councillor Brooks.
Sorry, Chairman, you are doing the vote wrong.
I think I had two nominations, and
Oh, yours?
we had 6 votes for one and 2 for another. If I had a third nomination, I would need to do it again. Well, as there's only 2 people, you're rolled out on the first one. There's not a third vote, second vote to go through. Would you agree with that? Am I correct?
It's a bit odd that somebody seconds me and then doesn't vote.
You're allowed to. She didn't, it was Nick that
But
seconded.
you only have 2 votes.
We don't have to. I'll put my name
Well,
forward.
you're talking, so we were just discussing.
Well, it's not. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay, Paul then, congratulations, you are elected. Okay, we now want a deputy. We propose Martin. Do I have a second for that?
can I make a comment or not?
No. So,
Well,
any other proposals? I'm going to propose Peter. Do I have a second then?
I'll second Peter.
Chairman, before I accept it, can I ask that if somebody drops out, that they don't phone me or anybody at the last minute? Like, I know the time of the meeting tonight because the councillor sent it to me and said, don't tell anyone. I received at 4 o'clock the letter from the clerk from the post office today. I am now working, and it would be unreasonable for me to go to my employer an hour before to say I need to go to the council. So if the person who is stood in or any other councillor is going to drop out, they need to let me know first thing in the morning before I start my shift at 11 o'clock.
They may not know.
I can't, all right.
Well, they will. Surely they will if it's tomorrow.
Well, the interviews are tomorrow.
Yes, that's what I mean. I need to know by 11 o'clock.
I can't say if someone's ill in the afternoon. I can't make any.
No, I'm just saying that I need to know by 11.
Right, okay, so what you're saying is you can only be reserved if.
But I would hope that
if
somebody.
you are, can I just finish, please?
Sorry.
You can only be a reserve providing you are notified by 11 o'clock tomorrow
Yes,
morning.
because they have to work their breaks out.
Okay, well, that's reasonable, I understand that, so please bear that in mind. So all those in favour of Martin? 1, 2, 3, 4. For Peter? Not very Peter.
Yes.
What was this group?
Therefore,
So Peter's not, Peter's appointed in this.
That's fine, because Peter's retired.
Right, thank you very much for that. Next agenda item then is 5, Citizen Advice Rutland Funds. If you remember, we did agree to put in the budget £2,000. That's for the current year, not the year coming, but the year 2017-18. It's almost finished. We did agree to put £2,000 in the budget. And of course, putting money in the budget doesn't give authority to spend it or anything else. So we now need to either to debate, first of all, if anyone wishes to debate, and then vote on what we're going to do. Yes, sir.
Right. I think this is an excellent organisation. I've no first-hand experience, but I have a relation who works in a different area at this, and it is absolutely wonderful the things that they can do for people, and it's needed. Sometimes it's the only place that people can go to for the help that they need, and I absolutely think it's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Woodward, thank you.
I'm not sure I was party to the original allocation, so I just wondered if someone could just explain what the allocation is for this particular year. Thank you.
With 2,000.
Yeah, not the amount, what the purpose?
The purpose as a grant to Rutland Citizens Advice. It is a charity, and council, certainly in my time as a councillor, each year, every town council.
So it's a general contribution to a charity versus...
So for their funds
That's fine.
to do
Yeah.
what they want.
That's fine.
Is that okay?
Background.
Councillor Brooks?
It might be helpful to say something because it was mentioned by, I don't know, you're the CEO of the Citizens Advice. They can't call it the CAB, because I used to be on what Adam does and they get fined if they call it the CAB these days. It's modern.
Can we
So,
please not...
basically, I'm quite blunt. I fought for this to go on the budget, and rightly so it's been said that it doesn't mean the council has to pay it. It is very normal for Citizen Advice to actually tell us what they are going to do with the money, specifically for Oakham. The council has never... Sorry. I don't think you are. The council has never dealt with grants properly, in my opinion. That we brought the Citizens Advice to the meeting for the previous year. They had to do a presentation while we gave away money at the same time for fish. No questions answered. Yes, for the canal. And, you know, I'm slightly apprehensive about supporting this evening because, as rightly said, I've approached Citizens Advice a number of times before this gentleman arrived to remind them that I fought for them to get this funding to be considered by the council. To me, it seems to me that they probably had their trustees meeting, probably in this room, and realised that they hadn't had the money from Oakham Town Council this year. They're not a poor organisation, so I think this year I can't support it. We know that there's nothing in the budget for next year. It is disappointing because I know that Citizens Advice does a good job, but as a councillor, it's our responsibility to ensure public money is spent correctly. And we cannot just give money out, as they've said, sorry, we haven't put an application in. We can't just give money for without, a detailed reason why we are giving it. But we're not allowed to give to charity. That's the rules. We are not allowed to give to charity. But we can support. There is a thing in the Local Government Act where we can support Citizens Advice. But they have to apply. When they get money from other organisations, they have to apply. It's the same with Rutland County Council. So anyway, I won't go on. I'll get told off by the chairman. But I'm sorry I can't support a last minute.
Okay, I think we've got that message. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I attended the AGM of the Citizens Advice Bureau a few months ago, and I was very taken with the work that was being done and how the Chief Exec was moving it forward. It's a much wider organisation now, and if you look at the various statements, you'll see this. Being Oakham and the market town, And with the office locally, I think we gain much more than elsewhere. I was a member of Oakham for 10 years, Uppingham for 10 years, and also on the county council, and there's no doubt that being in the centre of it, it does help. RCC give a lot of support. I think they've got a sort of 5-year plan, haven't they, which must be a big help. So I wholeheartedly support this. In fact, I think we should be doing more, and hopefully in the future we can rectify the position and perhaps a bit more liaison would help.
Thank you very much. Anything else this morning?
Just to echo the words that were possibly said by Councillor Ryan, having attended a couple of meetings which they don't hold in this building, they've actually held them at another location, which I don't go into detail on. That's just to help clarify a point. And as the Chief Executive has just expressed, that the 52% of Oakham residents do benefit from when it goes in. And I do know that Rutland County Council have made some significant contributions, but for that, the Citizens Advice have got to give some significant feedback back and support the community. So they're doing that on reduced budgets. So they're doing more for less. And as the main council in the county, £2,000 is a little bit in the ocean compared to what Bruce's done. So, and as times get harder, we've only heard recently about people struggling with benefits, where with the change of the benefit styles, the Citizens Advice will have been picking up a lot of those queries, because obviously they're not handled by the Rutland County Council anymore. So yeah, totally supportive. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
How to close it?
Okay, just to wrap up then, we've been covering all the comments that have been made by councillors, most of them are. We've been told that 52% of the work is for people that live in Oakham. We're here to represent residents of Oakham. Okay, we should bear that in mind. Okay, so do I have a proposal? And proposal, for the second one? All those in favour? Abstentions? Against? So that's carried. Thank you very much.
Well, those down, although we don't have any
I've
figures
invited
for
you to
next
speak.
year, I hope that our
Councillor Crowley, I've not
representative...
invited you to speak. Please.
I know you haven't, but I was hoping that next year we can do things properly.
Clark, you'll now make arrangements for...
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Anything else you'd like to say?
We don't do things
Just
properly.
thank the council in terms of kind of making some amends for my previous. I think if I can come to the council.
Excuse me a moment. Can we not have... We've got members up here speaking. Can we please, with respect, and keep quiet and listen to them? Awfully sorry. I'd like to carry on.
Just to express my gratitude for the support and in terms of the work that I haven't done in the past year, but looking forward and the commitment that I make to the council, I think it would be really useful if I came to the council and presented, you've made a contribution to the organisation, which is absolutely wonderful. Talk about the work of the organisation from Citizens Advice, and I might say Bureau, Citizens Advice Rutland perspective, but also then the Rutland Wellbeing Service, and actually you can start to touch and feel what it is that we're doing a bit more. So I'd make that commitment.
Yeah, if you could
schedule that.
start with the clerk, that would be great.
Thank you very much.
There's nothing in the budget, they didn't.
Okay, agenda item 6. This is a payment for right to pay their invoice. Well, would you like to give some clarification on that?
Yeah,
please?
do you want to...
I can, Chair, if it might help.
The invoice was for 6,520, but there was some of the lights haven't been replaced, we haven't had them back. So I've spoken to Light, they have been liaising, and they've basically said that we'll hold back. I want to get it paid for this financial year, but we've held back £2,000 for the return of the lights.
I'll clarify one point with Councillor Megan. I'll ask that to come in, because I think he can throw some light on why there's an agreed 2,000%. The clerk wants to get this paid in this current financial year, so the books, get the books there. That's normal accounting practice. If what the work has been done in this current financial year, it would be prudent for payment to be made in this financial year. Otherwise, it's carried forward, and it can create accountancy anomalies, which we don't really want and don't need to have. Okay, so that's the reason we want to get it paid now, and it's due in any case, obviously. Councillor, perhaps you could give some explanation as to...
Yeah, what it is, because with the light contract coming to an end at the end of last year, the council asked that all the lights that we owned, because we bought them, will be turned back into our ownership. The contractor working for light hadn't been able to do that. We've been short delivered basically a number of units, which could have actually less than £2,000 from what my calculations. But I did do an audit of everything that came back, and the best I could work it out, I was in contact with the clerk and with the light person to say, we are missing these bits. To be fair to Light, they were chasing down their subcontractor to get these lights returned, but they've had trouble getting their hands on them. So to enable the books for the end of the year to be sort of closed off as best they can, because there's nothing worse than trying to ring fence money from a previous budget into the following year. In that fact, it was at the suggestion of Light that they would resubmit the invoice, and they actually did it less £2,000, and I think when we worked it out, it wouldn't cost that much. The main thing is, Nick, all you need to be aware that one of the main things that's missing is all the lights from the tree, which were probably one of the best bits that we're missing. So that's all it is. So we showed due diligence in doing an audit when they came back, and now we've made sure that we've not paid for anything that we haven't had that basically.
In your opinion, if you dealt with the lights, in your opinion, is a £2,000 discount for bits that are missing, is that reasonable, fair, generous?
I'd say it's a little bit, I mean, it's more than fair. It's probably not overly generous, because in theory, if we now went out and had to buy the lights, we'd probably end up spending about £2,000 days rate. But at the rates of what we paid for them over the last 4 years, in actual fact, this is why I believe that we've sort of slightly ahead of it there. So I think that's where the light contractors have come in and been overly generous. I think they're frustrated that their contractors misplaced the lights.
All right, thank you very much.
Can I address through the chair a question to Adam, because I'm obviously being away
Through the chair.
through the chair. Adam, your assessment, the other piece of the puzzle was the potential damage to the lights that haven't been removed properly. I know that you're not an electrician, but have you taken some reflection of that in that 2,000? Because I agree this is a good way forward. I just wondered whether you, other than the cost of the lights, whether we were being a little remiss there or not. I haven't had the opportunity to do that.
All the Christmas lights, the lights that are missing, they were in good enough order, and even if they had been damaged, on a like-for-like insurance approach, we would never be able to get back the full amount. So in theory, that's redressed that. The lights that we do have in the shelter, there are some of those that are faulty. We all saw what we've known as the black teeth on the strings. So where some strings would be lit and some would be out, it's known as black teeth. And what it is that those ones there where they failed, because we bought them, we have no go back on them anyway. So, and Light said this from the beginning, if the lights have failed, we bought them, they have 12 months guarantee.
That's fine.
So in essence, Chairman, just because the lights are failed, we can't address that issue.
That's excellent.
Yes, I'm reading this bit, and it doesn't make sense to me, because it says to authorise the following payment for back for Christmas lighting. Original invoice was for that, less 2,000 as agreed. Now I'm reading that Light have agreed to that 2,000. Is that not correct? Because that's the way it's written. So they've already agreed to it. So therefore we don't need to discuss it then.
Just to clarify, it was Lights that made the offer.
Let's have it then.
Martin, I think you were next.
Yes, mine is slightly the same as Anne's, and it irritates me because nobody has the authority from the council to go into any agreement with Light, and the wording there is very clear, less £2,000 as agreed. We've been told tonight that the invoice has been sent in, so I will be voting against it because I'm quite fed up with things being agreed outside these meetings, which people don't have the authority to agree. And then I will put it on that's agreed, it's been previously
Yes,
agreed,
you
and
Yes,
an invoice has been
Councillor
sent.
Brooks, you've had your
Really,
say.
I suppose I'm going to ask a very pertinent question, and you may not agree with what I'm going to say. This contract with Light, was our contract with them solely? And because I'm taking on what Councillor Lowe said, that the damage has been caused by a subcontractor. So did our contract with them, was it solely with them, or was it with them allowing them to use subcontractors? Because obviously what we're doing here, we've paid out for a service from one provider and they've shelved it out to somebody else at half the price to make more profit. And if that is the case, I will not be voting for this.
Well, let's
For any of it.
hang on, I think you're making a lot of assumptions there. We do not know what Light have paid.
We do, because they've told me they
Councillor
paid
Brooks,
£2,000
please
to
do
their
not
subcontractor.
interrupt.
And they come
Councillor
from
Brooks,
Highgate,
please desist.
Southgate, sorry.
I think, as I said, there's real assumption that we don't know. What I want to say, our contract is with Light. And we're not debating that, but we've already, let's just go back a step. We're not debating whether we should or not give Light a contract. That has been done and resolved by council.
No, point of order, Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Will you please let me finish? Thank you very much. The debate is about paying an invoice. It's not about whether what contract we enter into with Light. That is already recorded and has been voted on. The work has been, council resolved to use them. The work has been done. We're now debating the payment of an invoice, not about who did what. Okay?
Can I make a proposal that we don't pay the invoice, please?
Right. Councillor Brooks has prepared. We'll finish debating first.
I have some feedback on it if you want it.
Yeah.
It was to help clear the thing. The original contracts with Light have always been with Light, but Light, from the very word go, said that they are the light provider and they use an installer. Our contract has always been with Light. So if the installer made a mistake, we wouldn't have to negotiate with the installer. We would deal with Light, and that's what this is.
That's the point I was
Yeah,
making.
I know. And the other bit is that nobody actually negotiated. Neither myself nor the clerk negotiated with Light for a reduction in the invoice. The Light contractors were chasing the payment. I made the clerk aware that we were shorted. She made them aware, and they said, well, we want to get the bulk of the invoice paid. All we can do is we have to re-invoice you less the amount we believe that it's worth. And that's what they offered. So there was not a negotiation. We made them aware of facts. And then that's how it evolved to where it is now.
Sorry, Chairman, point of order. I'm not stupid. That's a legal document with an agenda item that says it's been agreed.
Do you wish to make your
Yes, and my
your
proposal is that we don't pay it because I
do I have a
don't agree.
seconder? Do I have a seconder for the counter proposal? Do I have a proposal? No seconder, so that falls. Okay, do I have a proposal to accept?
Yes, Chairman, I'd propose that the council will authorise the payment of the £4,520 plus VAT.
Do I have a seconder for that? I think that was first. All those in favour?
Sorry, can you just repeat what you said, because I didn't quite get that?
I said I'd propose that we authorise the payment of £4,520 plus VAT.
No, that's on it already on the 6,000.
Said £4,520 plus
Plus
VAT.
that, yeah, well if we take the 2,000 off 6,520, that is then 4,520.
I think that's what...
It's not plus that, because the VAT's already onto the 6,000.
Well, no. It is just to clarify the point. Just to,
I don't understand.
Well, I'll explain for you.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, we claim VAT back. So the sums we showed, the £425 is what we actually pay. The VAT, and because we're VAT registered, we claim the VAT back, so we don't show it in the account. It goes in and goes out, if you like. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, or half. Right, can I just, because I'm not very good at this, but I did, maths, but anyway. 6,520 is the 4,520 plus the VAT. The VAT doesn't go to them, the VAT goes to the man in the sky. So therefore, we should be paying the 2,000 off the 6,000, which is 4,520. Is that right?
Their invoice would have been £6,000 plus VAT.
Well, how did that come about? Because that,
Because now that in this, in when you take services, that's how it works, isn't
it
it?
doesn't make sense. I'm sorry.
Okay,
sorry,
well-
Peter, it doesn't make sense.
Well, no, because we've gone, let's just get back on track. We've had a debate, we've had a proposal. Do we get, have we had a second?
Nick said.
Right, we had this, we've been proposed and seconded, so all those in favour? Abstentions? Against? Okay, thank you very much, that is carried by 7 to 2. Thank you all very much for your time, and I now close the meeting at
Yeah, well,
That is not, the meeting,